Hi, I'm Don Keelan, and with me is Jim White, and welcome back to the Fisher Scott Memorial Pines here on Red Mountain Road in Arlington. We're here today for several reasons. The first being we now have in place, given to us by the State of Vermont Forest, Parks and Recreation, the new sign designating the Fisher Scott Memorial Pine Forest. It took a while to get it, but it's now up, and now gives a proper designation. This area, as you may recall from our previous show we had done, describes three areas. One is that the area behind me is a federal designated natural area by the Department of Interior. It's also designated a natural area by the state of Vermont. And the third thing, which is very appropriate this week, is the fact that it designates the memorial to a great hero from Arlington who gave his life during World War II, Dr. Captain Jimmy Fisher, which we'll talk about in a minute or so. But one thing that's very distinctive about this area are the trees. And the tree expert, our former county forester, is with us, Jim White, and we're going to let him tell about the trees.
First of all, there's two sets of stands of trees here. Immediately off Red Mountain Road is a 100-year-old forest, dates to, we know, about 1916, 1917, when all the big trees used to come out to the road. But during the First World War, Dorothy Canfield Fisher, who was in Europe with her son and husband and daughter, there was a shortage of wood, and she wrote back to the farm manager and said, cut the big pines and put them in for the war efforts so we can support the war effort. So immediately, for about the first 100 yards off the road, we're in a 100-year-old forest. They cut all the big pines. Pine and oak came back. And once we get 100 yards back, we got a really cool forest. We got a lot of 100-year-old forests. Most of Vermont's a 100-year-old forest. But we don't have 300-year-old trees like we have 100 yards back off the forest.
And the background of the property is in 1975, Dorothy Canfield Fisher's heirs gave the 10 acres to the state of Vermont. But also at the time, they put a plaque honoring the Fisher family, and specifically Jimmy. Jimmy Fisher grew up in Arlington, went to school in Arlington, and then later went to Harvard Medical School and became a physician. He then joined the 6th Ranger Battalion in World War II, and the 6th Ranger Battalion was one of the lead battalions in the landing on the Philippines 1944. In late January, General MacArthur was concerned about the POWs, that they were being killed by the Japanese Imperial Army. So he sent the 6th Ranger Battalion 30 miles behind enemy lines to rescue the 513 Americans at Cabanatuan in the Philippines. And Jimmy Fisher volunteered to go on that raid because he felt that the prisoners who had been there for 3.5 years would be quite ill. And he was absolutely right. The raid was successful. All 513 prisoners were rescued. Unfortunately, as Providence would have it, Jimmy, on his way out of the camp, was hit by a mortar shell and was mortally wounded. He was carried for 2 days on a door, a makeshift stretcher, and passed away at a first aid station 2 days later. So the family, his heirs and so forth, gave the state of Vermont this property in 1975 with a plaque. And as Jim was saying, you can walk in this trail we have right here. What's it, about a half mile or less?
It's less than a half.
It's less than a half mile to this large rock, and on top of the rock is the plaque that the family had placed there in 1975. Surrounding the plaque are these trees, these sentinels, is what I describe them as, watching over Jimmy Fisher. Jimmy Fisher made a fabulous commitment to the armed forces, and unfortunately, he gave his life. But today, we honor all veterans who have made a commitment, regardless of whether they are in war or serving in peacetime. They made a commitment, and that's what we do. That's what Veterans Day, November 11th, is really all about: honoring our veterans for the commitment that they made.
If I can add one thing to that, Jimmy Fisher was brought to a doctor and his wife, and they worked on him for 2 days, and he passed away. But Dorothy Canfield Fisher, after the war, found out who those people were, and she sent them to Harvard.
That's right.
Medical school. And the sad thing is that they said, if we knew then what we know now, we could have saved them.
Well, I want to thank all of you for honoring our veterans, and at the same time, when you are in Arlington, and it's actually the north part of Arlington, right off Route 7 is Red Mountain, and about a quarter of a mile up the road, you'll see this beautiful sign given to us by the state of Vermont. And just take a nice leisurely walk in and see the beautiful trees and the memorial to Dr. Jimmy and his family.